Well, hello. Yes, I am still alive, and I'm in charge this week. I got a phone call from Topher, and he was just like whinge, whiny, whinge, cry. And he was saying something along the lines of, I've carried this business for the last 4 weeks, and now that you're out of hospital, you can carry it. And then he went off and had a tantrum. And rumor has it that he's gone somewhere into the city of Melbourne to glue himself to something. So Topher's left us and he's just gone full left loony on us. So what do you know? But someone who definitely hasn't left us and hasn't gone crazy like that, our regular guest who I don't think's ever missed a single show, Omar.
Hey,
how are you?
What do you mean you don't think? You're
I see. I haven't been here for every show, and some of the shows that have been on, I've been so drugged out from general anesthetics and stuff like that. I just didn't even get to see them. So,
but politely speaking, what you were saying about Topher, I on part I disagree. You were saying he was whinging and whining. You could just say he was being Topher. And that
this is true. This is true. Yeah. But for the benefit of the viewers, I thought that a bit more descriptive language was required so they could at least appreciate what that phone call was like. And look, we're not going as a duo tonight. We are joined by the one and only, the incredible, the infamous Whiskey Pete.
Hey, what up, man?
Hey, how are you?
Gentlemen, I'm well. How's my sound, by the way? I don't have headphones today.
Look, it's not too bad. You're a little bit quiet, but I can hear you.
A bit closer. It's just I have headphones. They just didn't want to connect to my laptop. And they're not that charged anyway. But hi, thanks for having me.
No, thank you for coming on. It's been a little while.
Bring in the reinforcements.
That's right. That's right. Look, when Topher's away, we actually put on a quality show.
Yeah, the A squad. The A squad.
That's right. That's exactly right. So when we maybe we need to push Topher out of the way more often. Maybe we need to glue him to some more objects. So look. Rumor also has it that it wasn't just anything that he was looking to glue himself to. Rumor has it that he was looking for something akin to the statue of David that he could glue his hand to. So
I thought it was Dan Andrews' posterior.
Oh, maybe.
Hang out at a few meetings, really build some rapport between the two of them. I feel
Who knows? You never know with that, man. But what we do know is tonight's cigar. Now, have either of you guys had this cigar before?
No.
That's an affirmative.
So this is a medium cigar, and it's not a very old cigar. This cigar was only released, I believe, around about 2015 at the big cigar manufacturers shindig they have in the States every year.
The Tobacco Association conference that Tadawai released for every year, or something different?
Look, I'm not overly familiar with all of the conferences they have over there, but I just know it was at one of the...
They don't invite any fucking Australians. They're rude fuckers. We're not important enough.
It was just at one of those convention trade shows. They released it. And it got a bit of mixed reviews. And I will be honest right up front. Some people absolutely love the cigar. Some people think, yeah, it was all right, but I wouldn't go there again. And I think the reason behind that is that they were trying to get a middle of the road cigar. So this is not meant to be a powerhouse like a dark Oscuro wrapper, but it's got to be. They wanted something that was more flavoursome than a Connecticut shade, that would give someone a little bit more boldness than a Connecticut shade and still be approachable by a relatively new smoker. So I think if we keep that in the back of our minds as we smoke that, and just don't jump to the wrong conclusions like Topher seems to always do, this might be a cracker of a cigar for us all.
Let's light up.
Absolutely. So what sort of cuts are we all going for tonight? I am thinking just a straight cut for me.
Right. I'm gonna flat cut the fuck out of this fucker.
Yep.
It's a Robusto, right? So generally with Robustos, flat cuts are a really safe bet. I used to punch cut my Robustos, but I found I was more prone to canoeing. That's a dry smoke. Damo.
Yeah, actually quite a nice dry smoke. I just inhaled a loose piece of tobacco from the cut. I should have brushed it a little bit before I stuck it in and took a long, hard suck on the cigar.
It's all right. Rookie error. Might turn my light down. I'll look a
Look, not a bad cold draw. It's not tight, not plugged, not too loose in the draw. Nice. I think we're going to get some. I'm expecting some nice toasty notes out of it. Maybe a little bit of pepper too. I've already just the taste of the wrapper on my lips is giving me a bit of a pepper note. So.
Yeah, mine's all right on the retro hail. I don't get any pepper. It's really soft. It's malty. A little bit of sweetness, grainy, cereal kind of notes.
Yeah.
To be honest, the dry smoke doesn't give me a whole lot to tell me what's going to happen. To TBH, if anyone wants to know my opinion. Right.
Hi, Daniel. Thank you for joining us. And Daniel's saying it's dusty on the cold draw for him. I'm actually getting a nice little bit of burn just from it touching my lips and my tongue. It's a little bit of like a pepper pushing into a cayenne taste on my tongue at the moment.
Yeah, I wouldn't go pepper, but it's more of a cayenne. It's definitely have a spiciness to it, and it's very earthy spiciness. In my cigar, anyway. If you're probably getting more of a light pepper, are you?
Look, I think it's definitely got that cayenne note there to it.
Yeah,
it's got a little bit of gritty texture to it, which is I assimilate with that black pepper. So,
yeah, I just had the black pepper, what you just said, come through as well. So I know what you're talking. Boom. But very dry.
Yeah.
Super dry.
Oh, we're going the matches.
No. Cedar Splins.
Oh, even better. Total nerd.
It's because I broke my blowtorch when I moved. So so I'm pimping unintentionally, but also based on the way that cigar nosed and smoke went on the dry smoke, I thought adding an extra woody flavor in wouldn't hurt to fill out that bottom end because it felt really top line sweet. So I just thought a bit of extra woody smoke through might balance it out to match with the little whiskey that I was having, which has a little kiss of smoke in it.
So I'm definitely getting toasty, woody, peppery notes on that first puff.
Yeah,
you definitely have some sweetness there as well.
I look like crap.
Yeah, but I like your t-shirt. Sorry, the fiance's come out for whiskey, but she has a shirt that says "Yes, boss" on it.
Perfect.
So they're both in there getting
All right, yeah, good.
So Simon's asked, "Is that?"
So I'm still opening my cigar up, getting some heat through. It takes a little while with this cigar, right? Like it doesn't drop a lot of oil. Everyone's
We
frozen.
just lost your sound there for a moment there, Pete.
Oh, there you are. Is it
Habano?
Is someone talking to me? Or I heard a Habano wrapper and then it broke.
Yeah, Simon
I'm
asked.
back. Surprise.
Yeah,
Here I am.
Simon was asking if this was a Habano wrapper. It actually is. It's an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper. Yes. And I'm just having a quick look. It's a Honduras origin cigar. The binder is a Honduran.
So for the laymen in the group, that literally just means Cuban seed grown in another country. It sounds fancy, but really it just means when the Cuban exile happened in 1958, heaps of the guys that were producing cigars and tobacco in Cuba that had to get the fuck out very quickly, including Davidoff, took their seed and they fucked off all around the Caribbean and the northern part of South America. And a few of them went into the US if they had the right diplomatic immunity. And they took that seed with them. So when they say Habano wrapper, it sounds like it alludes to being Cuban. And yes, the seed did come from Cuba, but we're talking about like 65 years ago. And if you think the genetics are the same as when it left Cuba, you're crazy. It could be better though. Like it doesn't necessarily mean it's better or worse. In fact, soil throughout those other regions are richer because they invest in the soil and they work on building that organic mass rather than just pesticides and stuff. So it can go both ways, but I always have a bit of a gripe when they're like, oh, it's a habano wrapper, which feels like they're trying to pretend it's Cuban. Cuban seed grown in another country. It's like Australian whiskey produced in New Zealand is not Australian whiskey. You know what I mean?
And the other thing, the
First
fillers
one.
that are in it, for those
Continue.
who are interested, it's the Dominican San Vicente Viso and a Honduran Criollo
They're
Ligero.
light. Lots of Connecticut.
Sorry? I think you got a little bit of a glitch with your connection there, Pete. So your sound's just dropping out there.
Cool. No, nothing. I just said, yeah, right, and cool. It's
Okay.
So I didn't get that pepper until that last. Fuck. What about now? Yeah, good. So I didn't get that pepper until that last puff. It took me like maybe 8 mil into the cigar until I got that first hint of pepper. But it's not unpleasant in the way that you would normally describe pepper on a cigar, which is almost like compensating for the fact it's not approachable. They do the same thing with tequila as well. When I've worked for tequila companies, whenever they do their blanco tequila, which is like the silver or the clear tequila, quite often they put white pepper as a tasting note, which basically means it's unpleasant and will remind you of those 1980s picnics that you had with your family where they have that little white pepper thing with it. But this is a pleasant pepper. It's got texture to it. Do you know what I mean? It's not like it's not like Saxa tear the end off a little. It's got grit and flavor to it, and I think if the pepper's complex, it makes a whole lot of difference. But it's not overly spicy or uncontrollable like normally when people will write pepper in their tasting notes. It's quite a delicate pepper, pepper and sea salt and
it's definitely got a
let's go with that to start.
There's almost a slightly sour smoky note in there as well.
There's also a base type of sweetness there that kind of lingers.
There's a funk, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
funk, like a blue cheese funk, but
and it's sweet.
I believe everything you're saying with that beard. I wish my beard fucking inspired nations like yours does. Holy shit. That's so good, Omar.
Thank you, brother. You know, I miss you. I haven't seen
every piece of health food you were offering. It's been such a long time, and people don't. I get so many. I've been getting heaps of phone calls lately. I retired from truck driving, by the way.
Yeah, David told me.
I got my time. I bought my time back.
Yeah,
but it's a weird thing. Like I've disappeared for ages, but I've never worked harder in my life. You know the metaphor of when you see a duck on top of the water and they look peaceful and you're just paddling like hell. Like I started work at 4:30 this morning. I had a 45-minute break before this, and then we'll finish off and I'll go to bed and I'm up at 4:30 again. It's just rock and roll. But anyway, it's the rebuild phase, right? I wasn't meant to walk again, so I got some catching up to do.
That's good, man. That's really good.
There's also a bit of a fruitiness to that funk.
The fruitiness.
Can't quite get the fruitiness, but
you know what? Here you go. You ready for this? For a fruitiness description?
Go for it.
If you took, the fruit cups you get when we were kids, like when you go to school. I wouldn't get them at school because there was too much sugar in it. But like the fruit cups where they'd have like pineapple and peach and a few other things in sugary ass syrup, which was
the tropical puree.
Huh?
The tropical type of puree.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it'd be tropical fruit cup, whatever.
Yes,
but
yes.
It's like a savory, more dried, white peppered version of that. Because you get those like tropical kind of sweet notes. They're there, but they're not sweet. But they were meant to be sweet. Do you know what I mean? Like those flavors. Like there's almost dried mango I'm getting at the moment.
Yeah.
And it's meant to be sweet, but that sweetness doesn't follow through. And I almost feel like that's where the pepper jumps in. It's like, hold on, I know you're expecting sweetness, but don't worry about your fucking sweetness. We're going to take you on something a little different. We're going to mix it up a little, show you something.
On the retro, that tropical fruit almost has a stone fruit note to it, almost like a apricot peach sort of note there as well.
Yeah, light stone fruit. Yeah, nectar.
That is really nice opening for a cigar, I can tell you. It's actually a little bit more complex than I was anticipating.
Yeah, it's got character to it. It has some depth in it. I'm liking
it. Absolutely. I'm sure this cigar is packed full of rings. Actually, look, talking about the whinge crybaby, you know how he always moans and bitches every single show that I give him the shit cigars and that I keep all the good ones for myself. Well, you know what? This man here, I had a cigar with him. When was it? Last week? 2 cigars.
Yeah, last week, yeah.
I had a tatuaje.
Yeah.
I lit it up. It started burning funny, tasting funny, and I realized it was tunneling right down the center. So I cut it, lit it again, tunneled again. So I cut it right back past where the tunnel stopped, lit it again, and then it just plugged up on me. So I was like, how many? Like, I wouldn't have got more than about 8 puffs out of that cigar before I just totally destroyed it.
I've never seen that on a tatuaje ever.
Oh, it was one of the little ones though. It was like what would it have been, about a 4 by
the little
28.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Nah, 4 by 30.
4 by 30, yeah.
Or 32.
So I thought, you know what? Omar is such the Plasencia fan. To be honest, I've never had a bad Plasencia. We both broke out a Plasencia Reserve Original, and I kid you not, 5 minutes in, the damn thing tunneled on me. I was going, it was about this at the moment, and I was actually holding my fingers just around the band, and it was starting to feel hot. I kid you not, I had to cut it all the way back to the band. There was this perfect tunnel straight down the middle that it would burn out, and I lit it from there back.
You can start checking your cigars before you get.
Oh, that was shocking. But don't tell Topher.
It's all about the lighting capability of smoke.
But then I gave 2 of the identical cigars to Omar, and both his burnt perfectly. So you know who I look after.
Hey, damn right.
Yeah, clearly this.
This has got great smoke production. There's a beautiful soft sweet,
good, right? Especially
almost
how light a body it is. Like
the smoke.
You expect to give that kind of smoke. You expect it to be really heavy on the palate.
Yeah,
you know, and it's just not. But you can keep having a go at it and sucking away at it, and it doesn't cramp the palate either, which I really like. Like I get frustrated with potent cigars where you've got to really regulate how quickly you puff on them, because like if I'm in, like with everything I do, and I don't like having to slow it down just to enjoy the experience. And it's a great cigar for that. I'll give you that.
Yeah,
I'm Aubrey's asking where Wally is. He obviously missed the start of the show. So Aubrey, just so you know, I got a call from Topher. I'm finally discharged. I'm signed off, fit to go back to work like 2 days ago. And I get a call from Topher, whinging and crying and basically complaining that he's carried Cigar Professor for the last 4 weeks. And last I hear, he was heading into the city to glue himself to some artwork. So I believe an artwork that's displaying male genitalia or something along those lines. Well, look, you know what, David? I reckon it's quite possible. You see, I left my cigars on the table with Omar and walked out the back to the bathroom and then go and select a drink and then come back. He might have swapped them on me because he was after some good sticks and he had some shit sticks that he knew he didn't. He wasn't going to smoke and swap them. So I think you might be onto something there.
No comment. No comment.
No comment necessary.
Yes.
I agree, Daniel. My ash is absolutely gorgeous. Perfect burn.
Nice rings. Ash rings.
A bit of split.
Yeah.
Oh no, we made a joke about rings earlier. I was alluding to the joke that I don't know about earlier. I was just trying to pretend I'm part of the cool crew.
Well, that's good. He's Daniel said he's getting the dry apricot as well.
Yep. Yeah. But meaty, like apricot chickenish. Like it's got that umami kind of depth, saltiness to it. Like it's not limp fruit notes by itself. It's got that bulk behind it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. It's got a nice toastiness to it as well. Really nice toastiness. You know what it's almost reminding me of? Coffee, but not coffee as in brewed coffee. But you know how you get the coffee beans that you eat?
Yeah.
And they've got that woody, nutty, crunchy, toasty flavor with the coffeeness. It's sort of that
bag and
same coffee bean flavor there.
Almost the texture, but yeah.
Like
that, you know, when you bite into it and it goes to shards, it doesn't break evenly in your mouth. It goes shardy, and that I couldn't tell you what the flavor is, but what happens in that process, whether it's ammonia or whatever that releases, it's that. So I agree. I'm with you. On the same team. Fuck, that's impressive. Oh, I can't do this show anymore.
This is a really nice cigar. Oh dear. First casualty of the night.
Oh, I'll have to try hold on to my ash. I might be in with the shot project. Oh no, not the no. I don't think that's a lost cause.
Look, I would hazard to guess that he knocked it on his beard. It's that bushy.
Damo, you won. I've got ash all over the floor.
As you do.
Yeah, now
so what are we drinking tonight, gents?
Are you in first?
Don't all rush in and tell us at once.
G.
You go, Pete. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking some of this, and which is Starwood Twofold. It's an Aussie blended whiskey out of Melbourne, done in ex-red wine barrels. And one moment, because the other bottle's inside. Let me go grab it and I'll show it to you. Because my mate imports it and it's fucking delicious, and I'm going between the two. Anyway, you can tell them what you're having in between, Tom Omar.
So we're having some, what's that? Slow brewed cola with pear and lime. You must have a similar thought to me, because tonight I'm pairing mine with Diet Cola.
Yeah.
And tonight I actually thought I would actually go with a spiced chai, black spiced chai. Because I knew what the flavor profile of this cigar was, and I just really felt as though a spiced chai would really marry well with it, and the depth of the flavors and the intensity of the chai rather than a tea. I just don't think a tea would have been cut it quite as well for this cigar tonight.
Some of these comments. Thank you, mate. You got to keep these boys in check. Otherwise, they'll go get out of line.
You know what? I'm also, I could be wrong here, but I think I'm picking up really soft notes of cedar And I think there was a faint hint of leather there in that last draw I had.
I actually already have written cedar in my notes.
Sweet. Oh,
Yeah,
we're all on the
cedar
same
is definitely-
page. It's good. See,
Yep.
look, when we don't have Topher on the show, we
It-
all
it
agree.
works. Yeah,
It's just a magical show without him.
seriously.
Simon, I will tell you a interesting thing I learned about 4X beer. When I was in high school, one of the years I actually had a Pommy English teacher, which I thought was quite fitting, have someone from England teaching us English. And he used to laugh hysterically when the 4X ads would come on. The old I Can Feel a 4X coming on. And finally one day, they're like, why do you find these ads so funny? And apparently in England, when he was there growing up, 4X was a brand of condom. And he thought the slogan was hilarious. I can feel a 4X coming on. So,
dude. Look, I've had a call from a mate of mine, known Robbie. He sent me a photo of the cigar. He goes, dude, what's that? I'm like, why? He goes, man, it's such a good cigar. I'm like thinking that's such a no-name cigar, and I have an extra pack, as you know. And I was like, wow, this is a good cigar.
I just got a sudden change. I can't tell you what it is, but I just got a really sudden just...
Look, it's all of a sudden has become very vegetative and almost on a ballpark. Yeah, sour, herbal, and all those sorts of notes. This is a transition, and particularly after I dropped the ash. That's what you are getting right now. That tang and the tropical fruit thing and apricot thing has gone away a while ago for me.
That vegetative note for me is leaning towards a fennel sort of note. Oh, what's that one, Pete?
So this is it's a cognac. It's a 20-year-old cognac base topped up with verjuice, which is like the like pressed grape juice before they ferment it to wine and or cognac from 1982. And I got this from a friend of mine who imports it, and it's really fucking delicious. But it's only I think it's 20% or 25. It's not that high.
I can fix that for you if you ever need.
Well, yeah, we'll just hit it. We'll just top it up with vodka. But anyway, it's really delicious. But it's a bit sweet for me by itself. But I like going between the two, between whiskey and this. So that's how I'm using that. Anyway, I got distracted because my mother-in-laws and father-in-law are here, and I only knew about one of them. But anyway, I have a new backyard, by the way. Did you notice?
Nice.
Yeah,
I like. Is that tree lit up with fairy lights behind you?
Oh, we're fancy as fuck here. Don't you worry.
Fantastic.
I just knocked my ashtray off. Yeah, no, we've got all the backyard lighting and all of it. This is what happens.
Fantastic. Yeah. Oh well, next get together will be at your place.
Yeah, if you want, you're welcome to.
Just get a fire pit going.
Mm-hmm.
Be perfect.
Feel free. Me Kaza, Sue Kaza. Who's Sue?
So Aubrey wants to know where you can get that, and I assume he's talking about your bottle.
Oh, right.
So
I got this from my buddy French Alex. He has he runs he's French and runs a importation business bringing in cognac. If you want his contact details, like maybe I should just give his fucking phone number out online. Let's do it. Fuck it. Call it. Give me 1 sec. I'll grab my phone, but call this cunt. He'll sort you out, and he'll give you wholesale too. 1 sec. But it's really good juice. I think it's about $300 in stores, and I think he can do it wholesale a shade over 100. You know, for nice. 20, it's half 20-year-old cognac and half verjuice, so it's pretty which is an XO cognac based on definition, standing for extra old.
Look, I'm really happy to say, Omar, that vegetative note has died down quite suddenly again for me. So as quick as it came, it's turned off. So
I'm gonna do. He'll be fine. Fuck him. He'll be right. So if anyone is interested, so the thing. Let me preface it this way. The thing about cognac, right? I worked for Courvoisier, I worked for Remy Martin, I worked for Hine, I worked for essentially everyone except Hennessy. And the thing about cognac is it's crazy overpriced based on marketing. But if you can find a independent supplier that brings in cognac at reasonable rates, like you're in the money. Like if you wrote Remy Martin on this is $1,500 every day of the week. So I'm going to give you my buddy French Alex's phone number to everyone. And if you think it'd be funny, we should do this. If anyone wants to have a laugh, I'm going to give you this phone number and you should all send him a message at the same time and be like, hey, we heard about you from Whiskey Pete. We want to buy your cognac. So if you want to stir this guy up, it would be funny, right? Because
okay, hang on. I'm gonna type this in the comments so people have got it as well.
If everyone's online, here's the phone number. But if you are,
so what's his name?
I call him French Alex. His name's Alex. I don't know his last name, but he's French. He's a legend, and he brings it's the best value cognac you can get, because he's got contacts over there and brings it in. At really, really, really strong prices. But because they don't have a marketing budget, you're not paying for the marketing. Anyway, so if everyone wants to get their phone out, his phone number is 04. He's going to love this. 37. 04. And my phone number is 0437. His number is 0434. Let's start again. 0434 925 916. That number again. I can't do it in French. I'm sorry. It's 0434 925 916. And just say, I heard Whiskey Pete talk about your juice online. And I hear the man. Even if you just want to annoy him, even if you don't want to buy it, it'll be funny. Anyway, there you go. Done. We'll see if I get a message from him. That'll be funny by the end of the show.
Well, look, this is what happens when Topher's not on the show. You get the good goss. You get the connections. You get the secret deals.
Yeah, well, you get half-price cognac, better than half-price cognac. That's literally what it is. Better than half price and better cognac than you can get with a brand name on it, for sure. Because all the stuff with a brand name on it, you're paying for the brand name. If you don't know the brand, you're winning. Cheers.
You know what I was getting after that vegetative note dropped off for me, and I think it's still there a little bit. I was almost getting a nice coffee note in there.
Like as in a dark coffee note?
Yeah.
Like maybe a ground coffee note, not coffee the beverage, but the aromatics of ground coffee.
It was just this gorgeous coffee.
It's not on the palate, but it's on the aromatics for me. But that's how I feel about it. But it's there.
The foot smoke's also got a sweet spiciness to it as well. It's actually quite a pleasant foot smoke.
It's a great cigar. Overall, it's the kind of cigar you could hand to a lot of people and them not turn their nose up at. But it surprises me how savory it's managed to be the whole way through as well, while still, remaining light.
Yeah. And there's still a sweetness to it.
Yeah.
I'm finding if I give it that nice long amount of time between puffs, that it's really rewarding me with that lovely sweet note on it as well.
And that's with all cigars. The longer you wait between puffs, the colder the smoke will be, so the more flavor you get.
We should have next time we have a in-person herf, we'll have to have a competition who can smoke the cigar the slowest.
I'll lose for sure. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'll be back.
Look, it's going really well with my chai tea, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
So you don't have a tea tonight, Omar?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
I got the black tea. Yep.
I'll just pull Pete's off for the moment. So it's us.
Yep. I definitely got the tea happening. It's pairing well.
Yep.
Got a really funny note come through. I can't describe it. I thought it was tang, but it's not tang, but it's kind of. I feel like mine has gone back towards that vegetative herbal sort of base again. Momentarily went away.
I'm not quite there yet, but look, I'm fortunate. The ash is still holding on for me. I don't think it's going to hold on much longer, just the amount that it's bent in the last few puffs.
Yeah.
I think it's going to drop on me soon. It's an intriguing cigar because I'm getting this simultaneous. It tastes dry at the back of my throat, but in the front of the palate, it's smooth and creamy.
Yeah,
so I'm sort of getting that smooth creaminess on the tongue and in the mouth, but at the back of the throat, I'm getting that dry, little bit peppery sort of note there.
Did you say a lot of the tobacco come from Honduras or not?
Let me just pull up my cheat sheet. So, the wrapper is Ecuadorian habano. The binder is Honduran. The filler is a mixture of Dominican and Honduran.
Uh-huh. So it's got a lot of percentage of Honduran tobaccos.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've noticed, Damo, after smoking a few cigars, that Honduran tobacco, it somehow always had a slight bitterness to it. You can almost feel that. And when it's blended different things, so you know when the blend is going, then they add this, and I'm gonna add that to the binder, and blah blah blah. Particularly in the filler composition, but it always has inherent light bitterness that can switch between spice to more of that tropical flavor, but the end feel has a slight bitter. It's almost like coffee. The end of the day, coffee has a bitterness to it, but it has you got a top flavors, and it gives you the notes of anything from fruitiness to the chocolateness and all sorts of things, right? Same thing with this, and I'm actually, that's why I kind of double checked it with you. If it is a Honduran cigar, it makes sense.
Yep.
I agree with everything you said, Omar, by the way. There is a slight funk, like a weird, like it's a muskiness to Honduran tobacco that you always know.
Always get, yeah.
But it is kind of, they do kind of use it as a bit of a filler in cigars as well. Like it doesn't bring too much, but it brings enough just to like stretch her out. So I agree with what you're saying, for sure.
Yeah, that's, sorry.
You mentioned that blue cheese note earlier on, and I really wasn't getting that.
It's like, when I say that, I mean the funk from blue cheese without the cheese. Yeah. You know, like that. Yeah. You know, like that.
Yeah, and I think I'm getting that now.
It's hard to describe. Like we use it a lot in distilling, because when you're trying your wort, which is like you ferment before you distill, you talk a lot about those kind of notes, and it's the same with wine as well. Like that kind of funky, musky, yeasty kind of note, but it's really hard to relate to anything else unless someone has like a boozy background, you know, other than it's the funk from blue cheese without the cheese. Like it's hard to find a familiar tasting note unless like it's like a pleasant rotting kind of flavor, which doesn't sound that good in a magazine.
Yeah, the other thing, Pete, I've noticed about the cigar is I was talking to a guy who's heavily into cigars for many decades, and he was talking about that specific kind of fertilizer they use in Honduras as well. Very common for the soil composition that they have, and it's like a light white layer, yeah, that you see, and that's where that the end note comes from as well, and that bitterness and that funkiness is, I think, part of that.
Yeah, and you wouldn't call it like Honduran tobacco. It's not perceived as premium. It's almost like it's cheaper to buy Honduran tobacco over Nicaraguan. Full stop.
Very.
But what it adds like that light funky muskiness to it that you can't seem to get out of anything else. It's a level above Connecticut shade in a way, but it also adds a lot more complexity to a cigar than Connecticut shade would, but in a different way. Do you know what I mean? It's not the sweetness and spice that you think about.
Yeah,
it adds
100%.
Many layers, but not or almost texturally, not from a flavor perspective. Or if it is flavor perspective, it's all really top line. You know what I mean? You don't get a lot of Honduran Maduro and that kind of thing. It's light flavors, but texturally, mouthfeel wise, they seem to add a furriness to them.
Yeah, and I think ultimately the blender. Yeah, I think ultimately the blenders kind of have this kind of question or where they want to have the cigar heading, which direction they want to go. But it definitely had complexity for sure. Sure.
Yeah.
I was in a cigar bar in Parramatta called the Heritage Lounge.
Yeah.
The owner of that, Lewis, seems to know you quite well.
Does he?
Everybody knows Whiskey Pete.
I've spoken to him on the phone. I've never met him in real life, I don't think. I may have met him in real life and not remember, but I helped him out when he first started on the phone. But yeah, like
would it be fair to say more people remember you than you remember them?
It's not like that, but it is like that. No, it's not nothing against you. Anyone that's trying to do a cigar bar in Australia, I am so pro. But I don't think we've met in real life. But I did give him a bit of a nudge. He was, Croman, Jake Croman. I don't know. Does he come on here? He was running it for a while. He was a dude that was working for me, but he loves cigars. I wasn't sure if he participated in this community. But anyone that's trying to do a cigar bar, I'm going to help out free of charge, of course. If anyone wants to open a cigar bar in Sydney CBD, let me know.
Will do.
Because we're ready for one, because we're about to lose the last one. So let's go. Let's go.
Do you think that, from your experience, Pete, in the industry, do you think Australia has what it takes to have a successful cigar bar, or is it just that our legislative framework is just too hostile to a cigar bar ever succeeding?
Legislation is designed not to accommodate a cigar bar. Make no mistake, right? Barronales ran as a private members bar under a private members association structure, if you like, for well past when that legislation ran in. And from the way I understand it, so that was the last indoor cigar smoking bar in Australia, in Hawthorn, in Victoria, just outside of Melbourne. And the way I understand it is they were hoping that someone would try to challenge them because they had a huge amount of QCs and that kind of thing and barristers on their books as members. So they wanted the challenge to see if they could get the law overturned. But basically they just made it so hard for him. It wasn't worth pursuing. So I think, is it hard to open a cigar bar in Australia? Yes, but it's not impossible. But I think what it's really like, the obvious and an honest answer is it's not about how hard it is to open it. It's about the fucking culture surrounding it.
Yeah.
And supporting it afterwards. Because there can be 40 of us that love it and go there once a week or go there once a month or whatever, but that's not enough to keep a cigar bar going. And because we're a dying breed, despite my best efforts, Like it's the culture. If everyone flipped and was smoking cigars, no doubt within fucking 3 months we'd be able to get the most amazing cigar bar in the world off in Sydney. It's just it's finding the culture and the support for it. But
it's almost like you need a 3-level premises. So you've got one level as your bar, one level as a restaurant, and then like you've got a rooftop level which can be your cigar lounge.
My theory was to do a cigar, like take an existing rooftop space that isn't being utilized and turn it into a cigar lounge with like a glass kind of atrium thing that went around where the doors could either slide to one side or lift up, which would add to the cover. That's how you could make it work. But it's a weird time in the hospitality market. Like you'd want to be pretty brave to be investing in setting up a bar right now. I wouldn't be doing it.
The bigger problem in the hospitality right now.
Do it, but I wouldn't be. Fuck that.
Yeah. The challenge in hospitality right now is the staff.
Down 2 days a week now instead of 5.
Yeah, staffing is almost impossible right now. It's at a stage it's never been in Australia.
That's why I get paid so much. For talking shit, getting drunk. Oh, 100%, Simon. I'm just reading your culture here. Sorry, your comment here about culture. I was reading it while I was commenting, and I completely agree to the point where I left working for whiskey companies because they wouldn't let me do anything with cigars, and started my business. See what it would really bring to a friendship community, but to men in general. There's something special about having an activity while you hang out with your buddies and talk to them, whether it's playing golf or shooting or smoking cigars, as it may be. Like having that activity to do something whilst you're talking to your buddies as almost like the facilitator of the conversation. It absolutely changes everything. And I think this is a kind of message I was talking about from 2013 when I started it, is like taking the time to invest in friendship. And it was really important in 2013, it felt to me. And now that I take a little pause and think back, I'm like, fuck, it's more important now than it was in 2013, which probably means I've done a rubbish job of sending the message. But, carving, like we're more disconnected than ever before. I couldn't have even pictured what the fuck would be going on now in 2013. But for dudes to sit down and hang out and talk about what's actually going on, having that activity is like so damn vitally important. And I think like cigar smoking for me, whilst I just enjoy it and it's a cool cowboy habit, and like that's one thing, but like really it's about what it can bring. So I agree. The end. Continue.
So I'm just coming into the final third at the moment, and I've just noticed I've got a bit of a charred flavor coming in, sort of like a charred woodiness in there.
Yeah. It's charred woodiness, and I think that's the funk, the bitter funk that makes it charred, and the blue cheese reminiscent. I think there's a variation that has moved from one sort of angle to another angle. And particularly on the tip of your tongue, if you notice, I'm very much noticing it. The whole entire, that funkiness or the charness is just there.
Yeah, it's still got that funk going for me.
Yeah.
There's still the cedar in there as well. It's almost like a charred, burnt cedar for me.
Yeah, it's got a cedar with this interesting profile.
It's been a lot more dynamic than I was anticipating tonight, which is nice.
Definitely dynamic.
Especially based on nosing the cigar, right? Like when you ran it on your nose and even dry smoke and that kind of thing. I had no idea the complexity it'd deliver.
See, one of the criticisms that people have for some of the Caldwell cigars is that they can be a bit monotonal from start to finish. Nice cigar, but you start the same, you finish the same, and everything in between was the same. But I'm not finding it with this cigar at all.
I wouldn't. For a non-Cuban, it's almost outlandishly character-filled and changes and evolved more than you'd expect.
Very happy with the burn on mine. Really happy.
Great burn. Great smoke production.
Much better than the two I had the other week.
Yeah, for sure.
So I know that David's watching tonight. I was just wondering whether David's getting any nicotine out of this cigar tonight, because I think I'm getting a little hint of it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ozzy.
Oh. Right. No, on.
It's a cigar that actually I think makes you want to slow down.
Yeah, and I have slowed right down, and I'm really enjoying it.
I'm really enjoying the burn speed on this cigar. I think it's a really nice burn speed.
Especially the back end, right? It slows right down. The first third kind of evaporated, but this back end just hangs.
Yeah.
As the humidity builds. And I also feel like the oily nature of the tobacco, maybe it's because the heat's run through it more. The wrapper feels oilier than when I started as well. Feels like a more expensive cigar to hold, is what I'm saying.
For sure.
Yeah.
You know what? I reckon this would probably be also a cigar that would probably sit well in the humidor for a little while if you wanted to stick a bit of age on it as well.
Yeah, I could agree with that. I wouldn't leave it too long. I'd leave it less, like 5 or less, but yeah.
Yep.
Somewhere around there, just because it's light anyway. And one of the risks around leaving it in the humidor is that it can lose flavor as you lose ammonia and that kind of thing. So I wouldn't overdo it, but 5 to 7 years, that'll work.
Pretty good.
Has Topher told everybody what is in the next pack yet?
Nah, useless. No, wait. He's not useless. I apologize. He's fucking hopeless and useless.
Well, to tantalize everybody, I thought, we've only got, 3 weeks left. Some of the cigars are actually only left America last night. So it's cutting a bit fine. But, I did order these cigars before I started getting chopped up by the surgeon in hospital. So it's sort of been a little bit out of my control. Things are just running quite slow in America with everything that's going on over there at the moment. But the interesting thing for this next pack, remember in our first pack, Gurkha Chairman Select Perfecto.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Beautiful stick. I still have cigars of those cigars left from pack 1. So they're now about 2.5 years in my possession.
Extra age.
So they're going in the next pack. We've got some Monte Cristo whites. So remember last Christmas, we did the Monte whites that were left over from the first Christmas, from the first pack?
Yep.
I've got just enough of those left over to do the next pack. So they're also the same age as well.
Is the next pack has a whole pile of vintage aged cigars in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And great if you've managed to smoke it. Like, how often do you have the opportunity to smoke a cigar 2 years earlier and then see how it ages 2 years later? I don't know about anyone else here, but I don't have the patience for that. So it's good that you're controlling the stock.
So another one that's been an all-time favorite. So the next pack, the theme of the next pack is sort of reminiscing over the 2 years of Cigar Professor. That's what inspired me. I started wondering what to put in the next pack, and I started looking at what we have had, and I thought, you know what, some of those cigars that have been absolute favorites of people joining in with us over the last 2 years, why not make up a pack of some of the favorites? So another one, which is an all-time favorite that we're always selling, throughout the year, is the Nub Connecticut 354. So I've put some more of them in that pack. So there's one of those in the pack. The Ave Maria Bellicoso, which is a bigger version of the Ave Maria Immaculata that we smoked in pack 1. I've got a slightly bigger version of that. The Bellicoso is a 6x54. So thought, we all enjoyed that one. Why not? Let's go for a bigger Vitola and see what that's like. Another revisit is the Sobremesa Short Torpedo. I absolutely love Dumbarton Tobacco and Trust Cigars. Steve Sarker, he doesn't, anything that he's not willing to smoke, he won't sell.
Yeah.
And so, I've never had a bad cigar from them. So that was one we had in one of the previous packs. And I thought, I really enjoyed it. It's actually got a beautiful, sweet flavor to that. We've got the Underground Shade Connecticut Corona again. Because that was just a nice, light, short, easy smoke. To keep Omar on side, because we need to have him on the show every week, put one of his favorites back into the pack. Actually, two of his favorites. I'm looking after Omar in this next pack. We've got the Nub Sumatra 460.
Oh, yes.
So that's a 4x60 ring gauge, not a 358 or a 354. We're doing a 4x60. And also on top of that, we're going back to the Plasencia Reserva Original Robusto.
Oh, yeah.
So that's and really looking after him. I have gone back into my own personal humidor again. I still have Perdomo firecrackers. They're now 3 years old. So I'm putting the Perdomo firecracker in there. I'm a Perdomo fanboy, and the one that really tickled the fancy of a lot of our subscribers was the ESV.
Yes.
We did the ESV in a Robusto size, but I thought, you know what? Let's go bigger. So I'm putting in a 6.5 by 54. Yeah, 6.5 by 54. Nice size stick. We've got another new cigar. Obviously, got to have a few new things in there. We've got the Excalibur Short Crystal. The reason they call it a short crystal is because they actually put it in a glass tube. I think it's probably acrylic, to be honest, but they call it a glass tube. So it's a tubo, which means it comes in its own individual tube.
Tubos.
Now, here's another one. When I was in America, I went to Deadwood in South Dakota and went to a cigar lounge there, the Deadwood Tobacco & Co. Cigar Lounge. They actually have some of their own cigars that they get made by other companies. And we had the Nasty Fritters. And so what Deadwood Tobacco have done is they've actually, and that I love Nasty Fritters. I've had quite a few of those.
Nasty Fritters was a Drew Estate thing, or is it the same size?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it that collab?
It is. It's the Unico series by Drew Estate.
Right.
So what Deadwood Tobacco have done is they've got their rendition of the Nasty Fritters.
Yeah, right.
And they call it the Crazy Alice. So it looks the same as the
little pig motherfuckers.
Yeah, it looks the same. The only difference is the color of the wrapper is not quite as black. It's a dark Maduro, not quite a Euro wrapper.
Yeah.
So it's their version of the same cigar, and that was a fantastic cigar. That was a surprise for everybody.
I really like the Drew Estate, so I'm sure it's good.
Yeah, so that's going to be good. And then the final cigar to make up number 13 is we've had some really beautiful Southern Draw cigars. And so another one, which is the Southern Draw Fraternal Order White Lancero. That's sort of to buy some brownie points with Topher to just sort of stop him whining too much because he likes his Lanceros. And I haven't got it in front of me, but I'm pretty certain that's also a barber pole as well. So that's the one with the two wrappers spiraling down the length of the Lancero. No, I think it's a natural in the Connecticut.
Natural Connecticut. Yeah.
Fair enough. Cool. Well, that sounds interesting. Sign up now.
So Simon's asking, what's the wrapper on the Perdomo ESV? It's the Connecticut. That was the one that was the most popular with everybody. Excuse me. So I thought I managed to find some boxes. As you know, I wasn't able to get any more stock of those Robustos because Perdomo have put a temporary hold on manufacturing because of COVID and because of the tornado it came through and destroyed crops, and there was a lack of good quality tobacco.
Shit went
So,
to shit.
Sorry?
Shit went to shit.
So we're going for a bigger version in that one. Look, Simon, you make a really interesting one, the Kentucky Fire Cured stick. I was seriously considering putting those in a pack. My biggest concern with putting those in a pack is because they're fire cured, they actually have a very strong smoke aroma to them, and I just didn't want to have a cigar that I had to separate into a pack of its own so that it didn't cross taint the other ones. But it has been on my list. I just haven't really figured out the logistics of putting that in, especially with this pack. I didn't want to have to go to 3 bags to ship everything out to people in. So that's the 13 sticks in the next pack, and we'll probably be sending out the information about that pack in about 1 to 2 weeks.
Invitation only on the next pack.
It is. We've basically limited our pack to 20 for our next pack. And so we're giving first preference to everybody who's subscribed. And then once we've worked out who's resubscribing, the available packs will then be made available to anyone else.
So if you're interested, get in fast before they get released to the Gen Pop.
Daniel's asked, what's the size of the Southern Draw? It's a 7.5 by 40, or is it a 42? I think it's about a 7.5 by 42.
Yeah, right.
From memory. Yeah, look, it is a light pack. I did go through that phase where we had, I started getting more Maduros and more Maduros and more Maduros, and we've had a few new people coming in, and I just feel as though we need to take a little bit of a step back and go back to some of the lightest. But there's cigars in there that absolutely satisfy any level of smoker, especially like that Dumbarton Tobacco and Trust, the Firecracker, and the Monty White's always a winner.
Any long-term cigar smoker would appreciate the opportunity to smoke something with a couple of that they've previously smoked with a couple of extra years age on it. That's the winner. That you never get the opportunity to do that. Same batches, same stock, just aged correctly. It wouldn't matter how light or dark it is. That's like a money can't buy it. Well, can buy it, but you got to be really fucking patient kind of opportunity. Truly. And you'll find the other thing you'll find is as cigars age over time, obviously they deepen in character and complexity and texture. So cigars that you may have found light to medium bodied earlier on, because the ammonia is evaporated out of it, you may experience a bit more oil and a fuller flavor body as well. And also the other thing that a lot of people don't talk about is the longer you age a cigar, is whilst you regulate the humidity in a cigar, the actual thickness of the leaf, even if you keep the appropriate humidity, does thin out over time. So the draw on a cigar over the long term does improve. Matter of fact, it's not up for argument or debate. That's what happened. The leaf shrinks, even if you keep the humidity correct. So even if you didn't care about the flavor development that was going on, the draw, differentiation and change alone would be enough for someone that was a passionate cigar smoker to want to see how these cigars changed and evolved.
Simon wants to know if we can send out the Woody in the pack. I reckon that would be the only cigar we could get in the pack with the tobacco tax, because that's a 21-inch by 60 ring gauge from memory.
Oh, damn!
What would you do with the rest of the inches?
It's actually, I think it's about a 7 or 8 hour smoke, the Woody.
Fucking, can you imagine? You gotta like sit there and plan your day, plan all your snacks and meals beforehand.
You just got it. You just got to set aside a whole day to smoke that bugger.
It works for me. Yeah, now you're talking, Simon. Something for everyone.
Look, I actually have. We're on pack 8. I think I've still got a few pack 7s left made up. So what we'll probably do is we'll probably offer a bit of a deal on those packs as well. If I've still got the pack sitting there by the time we launch the next pack. So keep an eye on the emails for that. You know what? I might even do a deal where I will throw in a.
I think you have to call it a fire sale when it's cigars. I think you have to.
Look, I'm just flying by the seat of my pants here, but I think I've got a small selection of not this particular brand, but see this little ceramic ashtray I've got here. This is a black one. I think I've got some similar ceramic ashtrays, so I think I might do a deal where if you buy the next pack as well as one of the pack 7s we've got left over, I might even throw in a single ceramic ashtray if you buy the what is it, pack 9, pack 7.
Pack 8.
I'll confirm that I've got them. I'm pretty certain I've got enough to do that, so we might throw that in as well. Not sure what the other gift's going to be in the pack, but if you buy a pack 7 with it, I'm going to throw the ashtrays in as well. I don't know if anyone noticed. I actually had to relight. I was so busy talking with the what was in the next pack that I forgot to puff, and I did go out, but it's actually relit. Not too bad.
Mine relit deliciously. Almost got saltier, almost like the broth from ramen noodles, like that meaty umami saltiness. Like on the relight, like almost like miso. So, which, you know, I suppose you could carry across in a vegetative, like deep, salty, like stewed, you know, stocky vegetative note, I guess, if you wanted. But I can see. I can see where
you're coming from, because that vegetative note has slowly ramped up a little bit since I relit.
It's deeper and saltier, and you think deep vegetative notes that you can describe with salt, and you, like, for me, it's miso, but it's not quite. It's lighter than miso.
Yeah, I get that. It's one of those nice frothy vegetable soups.
Yeah, but meaty and dark, but not like quite miso heavy, but it's there. It's rewarding. It really this cigar really evolved and told a flavor journey, more akin to a Cuban cigar than you would like than 98% of the non-Cuban cigars that I've had. It smoked like a Cuban, but with a good draw. You know what I mean? Like the flavor
and a good burn.
Significant, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like a good, like a great drawing Cuban cigar, but deeper and richer than Cubans tend to get. Like they don't get this savory and salty Cuban cigars, but like just having those 3 very distinctive flavor thirds for me is so reminiscent of what every Cuban cigar hopes to be, but deeper and richer and meatier. And for that, like, and especially with Honduran tobacco, I'm really and like it's not heavy dark tobacco, but this back end is really surprised with how dry and deep it is. Pleasantly.
Yeah, well, we've just clocked an hour over on this cigar, which is a great burn time, and I mean, there's still going to be at least another 10 minutes in this.
Almost anchovy-ish. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not fishy, but like it's got that real deep, salty meatiness to it, like Peck's paste. If anyone knows that from the 80s, I don't think it still exists.
Well, see, in those ramen soups, I think they actually put like a fermented fish sauce in those.
Yeah, well, there you go. But it's not fishy though. But like, it's got.
No, it gives it that umami flavor, that depth and complexity.
Because if you go to like beef stock, it's deeper and richer, and it's the wrong You know, it's the wrong body.
Yeah.
But it's fish stock without the fish. Yeah. Anyway, hopefully you guys are picking up what I'm putting down. Fuck. I know it's vague.
Smoke production on this cigar's just been gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
Especially for the body of the cigar as well, because you expect strong smoke production to be representative of strong cigar body. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's a nice treat to feel like you're not working for it, but also you don't have to slow it down too much in order to enjoy the smoke production. Truly, because you know when you get those like strong cigars and you only puff on them once every few minutes to keep them going, because otherwise they get too heavy. But how nice is it to get great strong strong smoke production while still just able to go hell for leather on?
Well, I'm happy with my drink pairing tonight. I think it's right on the money.
No comment.
So David's getting a significant nicotine hit right now. Omar, it definitely doesn't hit anything on his radar. It'd be interesting to know, David, how far down are you where you hit that really hard nicotine level?
I can feel the nicotine now totally, and I smoke a lot, and I'm maybe an inch and a quarter from the end.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm probably about an inch and a bit.
About where the ring would have sat, to be honest.
Leather in there as well. Definite leather.
There's leather there.
Like that, like the beeswaxy nature of leather. You know what I mean? That textural kind of thickness to it. That's what I think. Like it's a thick smoke, right? It's not light like before. It sits on the palate and hangs around. You kind of got to wipe it off with your teeth if you want to get rid of it, which is good. But it's waxy, which is probably the oils and the vapor at the end.
Thanks for popping in, Tim. It's dried out a little bit, but not too much.
I think I've got one more puff in mind, to be honest, and then I'm at the point where I will no longer enjoy it. Because I always say puff it. If you get one puff that you're unsure of, puff it once more, and if it doesn't work for you, then get rid of it, because you never want to overdo it.
Yeah.
You never want to underdo it if it's fucking amazing. And I'm here, and I just had a puff that was really ammonia-y. I'm going to have this one, but I reckon this will be it.
How about you, Omar?
Yeah, that's it.
I kind of see where you're coming from, but it doesn't work for me.
And I'm like, I've got an inch left. And that's not characteristic for me. I'd normally smoke deeper, but mine's getting way pepperier, almost more phenolic, like peat smoke, but bitey and spicy. But, you know, sometimes you just got to know when to walk away.
Okay.
And that was my point.
Mine's starting to get a little bit hot as well.
I'm
just trying to slow down a little bit.
It came on quickly. It surprised me. It came on really quickly.
Well, look, Omar never lets any nub go to waste, so.
Never.
We're still talking about cigars.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Righto, gents. Well, that might be me. I might go have some dinner or some lunch.
You go do that. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Oh, that's all right. Me guys. Thank you for the nice to see
we've
you
got
all.
our 1 year anniversary, and our last cigar of this pack is the Padron 1964 anniversary. So
I like the
Hopefully
anniversary.
you can join us for our 2-year birthday in a few weeks.
I'll do my best to carve it in the calendar. How's that sound?
That sounds like a plan. Even if you just do a cameo.
Yeah, I'll do my best. What date's that? The early December, first Friday.
Yeah,
December?
first Friday in December. And then what we're also looking to do is after we finish this pack, the next pack we're going to be moving to a Wednesday night.
Yeah, well, that might be more helpful. By Friday, well, look at my face. I'm rooted. I'm so rooted. I've worked 80 hours since Monday morning. I'm fucking screwed. But
yeah.
Well, I love doing this, so yeah, that might work. Anyway,
all right.
I'm about to finish. Yeah, one moment. Yeah, thanks, boys. Thanks for having me.
All right.
Great to see everyone, Simon. Thank you for the feedback. Yeah, I guess I'll see you all again in a month.
Okay. See you.
Peace.
Bye. There we go. How's yours going, Omar?
I'm on the knob, obviously, just under an inch, but I do agree with Pete. It's getting a bit warm and stuff.
Yep. Well, I'll talk about next week's cigar. We did the warped cloud hopper, which was an absolute cracker stick.
Yeah.
And everyone really loved that stick. So in this pack, we've got the warped Maestro del Tiempo. So that's next week's stick. So it's going to be a great one to further explore the warped brand cigar. So that's what we're going to have. So I'm looking forward to that one as well.
Yeah, definitely. Looking forward to that. I like the cigars. I actually do. They make some really good cigars, man.
They do. And that cloud hopper is a great stick. I've had that on quite a few occasions now and really enjoy that stick.
Absolutely.
And I know some of our viewers, because, packing and shipping orders, it's one that's constantly going out the door.
That's right.
I think this cigar is just at that point that Pete was at for me.
Yeah.
Getting quite for me.
Same.
I just give it one more and see what it's like, but I think that might be it for me on this cigar.
Yeah.
But look, one thing we've always got to remember is these cigars are made and aimed at the American market, and in America, cigars are so cheap because they don't have all the tax on them.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be shipped all the way around the world.
Yeah.
And they don't smoke cigars down this far. They get a bit past the pan and they put it down. So
that's right.
I truly believe that a lot of these cigar makers are not really focusing on that last inch and a half of the cigar. They're focusing on everything prior to that. So
yeah.
But Daniel, he's enjoying it right to the end, which is good.
Yeah, that's very good.
That wasn't bad, but I reckon at some point in the next puff or two, this is probably going to turn on me. So I'm going to call it there. So what are we at? We're about an hour 10 to an hour 15, something like that on that stick.
Hour 10.
Yep. So nice burn for a Robusto.
Yeah, and for sure.
Apart from talking too long and totally forgetting to puff on my cigar, I had no burn issues. Burnt perfectly all the way down. So gorgeous. Well, I'm hoping all you who are watching tonight have enjoyed this stick as well. If it's something that you think would go well in your humidor, just reach out to us and send us a message. But apart from that, we will see you same time, same place next week.
That's it.
All right. Thanks for joining us tonight, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.